If only everyone could be as free and happy as this smiling Buddha I painted, surrounded by butterflies, which is for sale by the way. Check out the links below if you're interested. Now this painting may look like it simply represents pure peace and the freedom to be happy. But real peace isn't passive, and freedom isn't something that simply appears when you close your eyes and hope for peace. This is because freedom isn't free. And with the recent capture of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro under an executive order by the democratically elected US President Donald Trump, it's worth understanding why. Despite legitimate concerns regarding the unintended consequences of regime change by a foreign power, this moment can still be a net positive. Freedom isn't free because of politics, but because of biology and even physics. Life itself runs on the constant transfer of energy, force, and power. Once you grasp that, tyranny, the opposite of freedom, almost makes sense. Because every living thing needs energy to survive. Plants convert sunlight, animals consume plants or other animals, humans consume both, and sooner or later something must give so something else can live. That isn't ideology, it's reality. You either accept and adapt to it, or you become something else's energy source. Most of us encountered this truth as children watching a lion taking down a gazelle on nature documentaries. It feels cruel, but that reaction comes from our own survival instincts. Strip away emotion, and it's simply matter and energy changing form. And no amount of good intentions, technology, or moralizing will ever stop that process. Humans didn't escape this reality. We hid it behind systems as we evolved. Instead of hunting each other, we built farms, factories, and economies. Work is still being done, energy is still transferred, but the burden is never shared equally. Some people produce, others manage, and some people simply take more than they ever give back. In many parts of the world, those at the top didn't get there through consent or fairness. They got there through force, fear, and violence. People like to say power corrupts, but that misses the point. Power doesn't magically turn good people bad. More often, people already willing to lie, hurt, or kill are the ones most driven to seize power. And absolute power isn't given, it's taken. And once it's taken, it's defended at any cost. That's why dictatorships, political, religious, or ideological, still exist. They survive because those in control are willing to use violence while everyone else is simply trying to survive. Given the alliances between Venezuela and Cuba, where my family's from, I'm painfully aware of how the Castro regime took power by promising equality before confiscating millions of Cubans' homes, freedom, and dignity. My parents were put in forced labor camps in order to earn the right to be exiled forever from their country. They were allowed to leave with only what they could carry in 2 suitcases. And this was all justified with speeches about justice and revolution that delivered nothing but the equality of oppression. And these regimes, from the Castros to the Maduros and many more nowadays, don't survive on fear alone. They also rely on defenders, people who excuse tyranny through pseudo-intellectual arguments and moral sophistry. In other words, useful idiots. People who speak passionately about international law and justice and love touting the Geneva Conventions, yet they fall silent when elections are stolen, opponents are jailed, or citizens disappear under regimes they support. Their impassioned words don't stop oppression, sometimes they protect it. Because here's a hard truth to swallow. Nature alone doesn't stop tyrants. The universe doesn't magically intervene like any of the countless imaginary gods most of humanity has desperately hoped for. There's no law of physics that prevents mass tragedies like the Holocaust from getting started. The only thing that has ever stopped unchecked tyrannies are forces greater than their own. And this can be explained with basic physics. To stop a moving mass, you need greater mass. For example, to prevent getting hit by a 90-mile-per-hour fastball, you can swing a baseball bat to redirect its path. Every major human problem has a solution. Poverty, government corruption, wars, genocides. But what usually stops the solutions to these problems are systems that crush freedom, especially when they're aided by useful idiots who downplay and even legitimize tyrannies while blaming the very people trying to stop them. Tyrannies always take more than they give back and feed off their quote-unquote own people instead of empowering them. That's why tyrannies are ultimately unsustainable. Freedom, by contrast, is costly, but generative. Yes, freedom can be messy, even chaotic. It demands courage, effort, and sacrifice. But when freedom is offended and is allowed to exist, it creates an overall butterfly effect, where beauty, dignity, happiness, and human potential can naturally flourish. If I got anything wrong in this video, please let me know in the comments below. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for upcoming videos, and check out the links below for my original art and merchandise. And thanks for watching.